Hey guys, welcome to Unbiased Rugby. I'm recording this on the Sunday after a thoroughly entertaining games on Saturday. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to go through the scores because I did predict most of the scores, the games. I actually got 7 out of 9 right for the weekend, which is pretty impressive for me on SuperBru. But yeah, I'm just going to quickly go through the scores, and then what I did during the day was I just recorded 2-3 minutes after each game, just so it'd be fresh in my mind, and I'm going to add those videos in. I might do a quick one on the Springboks, but I'm actually going to have a completely different show on that one. But yeah, let me go through the scores quickly. So the first game, obviously Tonga versus Georgia. I predicted Tonga to win, Southern Hemisphere side, but Georgia pipped it at the post 16-15. I don't get to watch any of these second tier 2 games. They're not shown locally on channel. Maybe I should go get a Rugby Pass thing so I can actually start watching these games if they actually are shown on Rugby Pass. Next game, Fiji versus Samoa. I did predict Fiji would win 24-22, so vindicated there. Next one, Japan versus Italy. I picked Japan to win as they play Super Rugby, so I decided to choose them, and they won 34-17 against Italy, which I think is pretty impressive. Next game was New Zealand versus France. New Zealand won that, just won it 52-11. Pretty. I watched that game, and up until the 40th minute, it was fairly close, but that New Zealand side is just absolutely class on their own. Following game was Australia versus Ireland. 18 to Australia, 9 to Ireland. I think it was a very, very close game. Super defence on both sides. Very happy for the Australians for winning the game, but it could have gone anyway at one point. Next game, South Africa versus England. 42-39 to South Africa. Pretty happy about that. Next one, Argentina versus Wales. It looks at 23-10 to Wales. I was quite disappointed with that game, because not for any other reason. It's just I know Argentina a lot better than that, and it just seems like they were just playing. They just weren't playing the same as the Jaguares were playing. I'm not sure. I don't know if they have a different coach for the Jaguares and Los Pumas. I'm sure they do, but I think if they played as the Jaguares, I think they would have been a lot better, because I don't know, they just weren't playing the kind of rugby that I'm used to seeing them play. The more expansive kind of game that they've been beating other teams with. So yeah, pretty bitterly disappointed with that game. Not taking anything away from Wales, they deserved that victory. It's just I hope Argentina actually just go to the way that they should be playing in that game, the way that the Jaguares are playing. USA versus Russia, that was a pretty much a hiding, 62-13. So pretty good to that one too. And then the last one, Scotland versus Canada, 48-10. So yeah. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just have just the 2 games from just after, because I want to talk about the 4 big games, or the 3 big games for me. So it's the New Zealand, Australia, South Africa ones. I'd like to talk about the Argentina ones, and I'll just do a couple of minutes on that too. But I'm gonna put the what I recorded straight after the show, and then I'll talk about that, and then just a little bit of talking, and then the South African game I'm gonna do straight afterwards. But here's my first show, but just after New Zealand, Ireland, New Zealand, France. Sorry, man. Hey guys, so I've just watched the New Zealand French game. I thought I'm gonna actually just do a quick run through each game for 2-3 minutes after the game. I thought it was a cracking first 56 minutes, 52 minutes. I thought the French were just phenomenal. They defended really well, and you can see why they're a really good defensive outfit. I think the yellow card changed the whole. You could see the whole French team deflated, and then it just started raining tries. That was an impressive performance by a really impressive team. that All Black side is just phenomenal. I thought Mackenzie played really well. I know Ben Smith had a bit of an atrocious thing for the first thing, but he also played really well. Actually, all the players, Minibus played really well, Lamapi played extremely well, but yeah, it was just wow, what a way to start the day, an impressive performance. I feel for the French because I think they're a much improved side from last year, especially that first half, and it just started raining tries, and then once the All Blacks get on a roll, that's it. They're very, very hard to stop, and when you start like 33 or 30 points behind, then you start doing dangerous things, and that obviously rains more tries. So yeah, I enjoyed the game. Very, very impressive. Nice to see the All Blacks pull out of the bag. I thought it would be a lot closer than that, but you know, this next week I'm sure the French will bounce back. But yeah, excellent game. Enjoyed it a lot. Now to watch the next one. Cheers. So I've just watched the Australia-Ireland game. I'm vindicated. I did predict that Australia would win, and it seemed like I got it right. I feel sorry for the Irish. It was a pretty tight game. But I just wanted to come back to the New Zealand game. After watching this game, it just shows how powerful the All Blacks bench is and how much impact that they bring off the bench, because just before the bench started coming in, that's when the tries started flowing, and after the bench came on, it just the floodgates opened. So, but that's I'll stop talking about that. So I enjoyed the Irish Australia game. Geez, Australia came in hard. I think they knocked a few Irishmen around. They were seriously tough tackles, but fully legal, which is great. That's what we want. We want a good, clean game. Obviously, the Irish were completely scoreless, and I think Australia scored 2 tries. Well worked tries. I think on the day Australia did deserve that win completely. They were the better team on the day. But from the first game, there were a few iffy ref calls. This game is exactly the same. 1 or 2 iffy ref calls that just seemed not that great. Also, I'm also not a big believer in if the TMO wants to get involved, and I know they've got different screens and stuff like that, but I'd also like to see the knock-on, and I'd also like to because obviously they're all coming from the same place. It's not like the TMO has their own cameras, or maybe they do, but I don't think so. So it would be nice to see those things. Standout performance, Israel Folau played excellent, brilliant under the high ball, but there were players that competed against him, which is great. Foley was excellent. Pocock was just amazing. Really everywhere, Captain Courageous or whatever you want to call it. He was just everywhere over that ball, stealing it. So yeah, overall it was an excellent Australian performance. Beale played really well. He really gave some tester balls. The one thing that I did note, obviously, I think what was nice with Ireland, they had a different number 10 that started. I can't. Sorry, normally I have to write down names. I'm not very good with names. So at least they had a young guy come in and was playing only 10 tests, I think. So yeah, they were blooding some new players. There were some new faces coming through. So it was nice and experimental, but a thoroughly entertaining game. It could have gone anywhere at one point until like the last 10 minutes, and then obviously Australia got that try. But yeah, thoroughly entertaining game. First game was just absolute class it just was a masterclass in open broken play rugby from the New Zealanders, and this one from the Australians, pure grit and determination to get across the line, because most people had written them off that they were going to lose, and they pulled it out of the bag. Great game. I think it's about 2 hours to go. I think it's about 2 hours, maybe an hour, and then the Box will play. Let's see what happens. Cheers, guys.
Hey guys, just wanted to say quickly off my phone, still on the TV here, pretty stoked at the moment. I'll probably only do a video tomorrow, but yeah, I'm super happy. Cheers, man. Bye.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the new format that I've done. If not, just tell me and I'll change it. But I was just trying to keep everything fresh in my head when I did the recordings. Sorry about the last one. I'd had one or two glasses of wine and I was pretty excited, and I think I would have been very unbiased, very biased if I had done a video at that point. Good points, bad points. I think New Zealand are on a class on their own. They came up with their strongest possible side that they could. I'm hoping next game they get to experiment a little bit more. But I think they've already done their experimenting. They know who they want to take going forward. I think now it's just going to be refining. If New Zealand I think they're going for their third World Cup in a row. But yeah, class on their own. I think the French were completely shell-shocked. I don't think they're fit enough to play 80 minutes of rugby, and they're not a bad side. They've much improved from last year, and I think the yellow card did change that game. And I don't think I know New Zealand and a lot of the Super Rugby sides. You know, they practice playing 13-14 man rugby to try to limit the amount of points during that period, and I just think France just didn't have a plan B for when it came to New Zealand. They attacked from all sides everywhere, and it's just New Zealand for you. You know, they're just on another level. But yeah, so yeah, a well-deserved victory for New Zealand. I hope the French can bounce back, because I still think like I said, they're much improved. Australia game. The one thing, congratulations to Australia, they deserved that victory like you won't believe. The only thing that is a little bit frustrating about Australia is that their players are a lot older. Pocock's a lot older, Beale's a lot older. Israel Folau's also getting, not that he's old, but he's getting on in age. So it just, if I look at South Africa, look at New Zealand, even Argentina, you know, there seems to be some young guns coming through. Ireland, there's some young people coming through, and they're prepared to experiment with those young people at various positions. So take South Africa, 13 new caps last week, 3 debutants starting this week. So yeah, it's a bit of a concern that I have a feeling that they're still going to do really well at Rugby World Cup 2019, but I'm just concerned about after this. It'd just be nice to see some young X-Factor players coming through Australia. There was one debutant that played on the weekend, but it just doesn't seem like they have that kind of that new blood that's coming through, which is very concerning for the future of Australian rugby. But all credits where credit's due. Still a superb outfit. The players that they have, Pocock, Beale had exceptional games. So, but yeah, credit to Ireland. They defended really well for a real attacking back row. The Australians know how to attack and they know how to score tries. You can ask New Zealand last year; they know how to score, and they know how to score really well. So for Ireland to hold out that much is brilliant. I think the next game is going to be an absolute cracker. So yeah, South African game. I'm pretty happy that we had the win. I'll talk a bit more in depth about that game in a separate video, but I just want to say that it was great to see the international players playing. They did bring that complete difference to the side, that bit of stability. I do think in Northern Hemisphere they play a lot more test rugby, style rugby. That sounded quite strange how I said it, but you know, they play that kind of scoreboard pressure, that kind of thing, and I think those three players that were in the side brought that kind of stability, and which the team needed. Entertaining game, very happy with the result, but like I said, I'll talk about that in another show. I watched the first half of the Argentina game, and then I got a bit late in the evening. I was a little bit frustrated. I was hoping that it would be the same side. The Jaguares have been playing exceptional rugby, and it just wasn't the same. It just didn't feel the same. It didn't look the same. They didn't play the same. And I don't understand that. You know, you've got a winning formula with playing this very, very expansive, loose kind of game, and then I just don't know what was happening. But credit to Wales. You know, they brought it to the Argentinians, and you know, well-deserved victory for Wales. You can see they're a quality outfit. They're well coached. But yeah, I'm disappointed. Because I know Argentina are better. That they've got much better players than that can score. Matero I rate him as I think he's a number 6. Bafeli's excellent. Creevy's brilliant. So yeah, they've just got these players that I know that can do a lot better. But overall, it was a thoroughly entertaining weekend of rugby. I enjoyed every single game for completely different reasons. So I was looking forward to week 2. But listen, guys, I hope you have a great week. I'll probably do a preview show about the upcoming games the following weekend. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great week, and yeah, great, man. Chat soon. Cheers. Bye.